Good morning, everyone. From Tuesday, Pashas Pekidai. Mamshech weiter our yesterday conversation, our yesterday share. As we mentioned yesterday, it's far more important to deliver in order to motivate the child, to follow with your guidance, with the parents' guidance. It's far more important to use the certain calm tune when when we say when we deliver our message and our guidance to a child. It can be the sometimes, as we said yesterday, the message can contain a lot of beneficial words, a lot of good words, but if this message wasn't delivered on a calmer tune, certain serenity tune, this message won't sink in the child's soul. It just will create certain resistance and resentments to the message and to the messenger. That means if you want to influence our child, mainly what influences child to change and to follow up good ways to be on the right track in life is mainly is how we say it, how we deliver, how we approach, and how we package our message. All depends on the packaging. All depends how we present the message to our child. With the emotions, positive emotional, motivational emotions, emotions with full of hope. The message needs to contain that happy, motivational, positive vibes, positive feelings. Then it breaks the heart of the child, and the child just, let's call it by force, accepting pleasantly the message and the guidance the parents provide him or her. Again, as I said yesterday, the brain capacity of the child is not that powerful, not that big, not that wide. So when we provide the guidance for a child with very strict face, very strict body language, let's call it, it's a child sees just that scary boogeyman. The parent will start, stands on his hand and just trying to control him. It doesn't due to the child's soft and undeveloped yet brain skills. Child sensors and is operated just by sensors and by the visions, and the child sees that scary parent. Just even so, the parents have good words, very beneficial words. Still, what gives the impression the child is the external presentation. So, if the external presentation was delivered in a very strict manner, that will be the roshim, that impression child will get. He won't dig in, won't go that deep and focus just on the message, not the messenger. He'll get scared, he'll get resistive, and will accomplish just building this child negative behavior, also revenge towards the parent messenger. So it is far more important to we parents to work on our own self, how we deliver our messages to kids. I would like to make a very clear note that the conventional way of presenting the kids the message as like more of a controlling way, commanding, dominating form, it not productive. Yet it is productive to make this child as a bigger para adam, bigger wild. Yet if we're trying to accomplish that, we'll very good accomplish with controlling, dominating, and commanding. But if we're aiming on to rewire and recreate and develop this para adam and the odom shulam, and besides the message, we need to deliver the message in a proper, very calm, very warm, energetic message, and through that message, we'll be able to mobilize the child to move on and correct himself and just to live a proper, correct life and behave properly and mannerly. As I mentioned yesterday, these very powerful words of Ramban writes to his son. However, just make clear note, this communication is not only applies to father a child, mother a child. It applies all over the place. Meaning to say, in any area, with anyone, when we communicate, we have to communicate in this pattern. Meaning to say, if we would like to accomplish even employer with employees, if employer would like to his employee to be more, if the employer would like to mobilize his team and to achieve and to try to present his ideas, the ideas needs to be presented in a very calm, very serenity, very content way. So it breaks the heart of the employees. It makes them to accept the ideas of the employer and work as a team. A team we call achdus. Same way, if a person in any social life, in any social net, if you would like to succeed and to create profound relationship with other people, it's the way how we communicate. We communicate not with aggression. Aggression meaning to say, even though it's very good words, the words are the text itself is very good text. If the text being presented on an aggressive manner, it won't accomplish. So if the messenger is someone who is more of a higher class person, meaning to say is a person who has money, yes, people will connect, but it won't be profound relationship. It will be a havat liabador, be something because people just would like to be around a rich person. But if the person is not rich, is not in that league of having having any kind of status in life, and if he would in his communicating also with aggression, he would just want to achieve any kind of relationships. Again, the relationships is very important. Very important. It's not, I wouldn't call it important, I would call it maybe necessary. What gives people content, satisfaction, feelings of security, giving the pleasant life is profound relationships. When you feel you have good friends, when you feel you have a good relationship with your spouse, when you feel a good relationship with your kids, you just feel good. It's very painful to feel alone. And sometimes people have a lot of people around them, surrounded by a lot of people, but if their relationship is based on objects, based on services, you just feel lonely. If feeling lonely, when the feelings of loneliness leads a person to a spectrum, all kind of emotional instabilities, like anxiety, phobia, panic attacks, and so forth. It's in Toyeradik, I'm not talking even about the psychology, but Toyeradik in social net is very important. Again, social net does not mean having people around you. Social net means having profound relationships with people around you, people you want to be. So number one, a way how to create profound relationships is by presenting and talking and communicating in a pleasant manner, calmer manner, pleasant manner. As I mentioned yesterday, Ramban writes to his son. Interessant, Ramban, Heilige Ramban, like there was one of the most powerful Rishonim, one of the biggest, greatest Rishonim, writes to his son. The first line he did not write to his son. Learn well, be a masmid. Does not write those things. This message Bachlal does not on the top line of his letter. What is on top line of his letter is as follows: Tisnaik Tomit. The daber kol devarecho benachas lechol odom b'chol eis. You should behave. You should have a minhag always to talk all your words benachas, with serenity, with calmness. Lechol odom, for everyone b'chol eis, at any time. Ubezet notzel min hakas, through this communication, through the talking, to releasing your words in a calm manner, you will. You'll protect yourself of gefer lechamida, of kas, anger, shemida ra'a lachtia bnei adam, which is very bad mida, what makes people sin. So Rambam is Rambam is a rishon. So every word by him was counted. So if we look deeply in the words of Rambam, he constantly saying over the same concept, but very strong. He starts this night tomit. Tomit is a very powerful expression. Tomit, always, constantly, forever. Ledaber, kol devarecha, all your words. Benachas, lechol odom, to everyone. Or bechol eis, in any time. Moedig, a very strong, powerful word. The question is why the Rambam madgish, why the Rambam relates to this dibur, to the communication is so strongly, so powerful. And we understand it by the second line, one of the big let's call it big behaviors which destroys and diminishes the relationships is a kas, anger management. It's impossible to create profound relationship. Profound is very extreme saying, extreme expressions. It's b'chalal not shy. It's impossible to create any kind of relationship with anger management personality. As someone who suffers from anger management is b'chalal not shy. Not only the relationship is already too far, it's b'chalal not shy to talk and having any kind of talk, even just a formal talk with anger management personality. And someone who suffers from anger management personality, from anger management behaviors, they call he's always remain lonely. He just will have in his life only one thing he will have, it's only anger. You want to have God, you want to have Torah, you want to have people, wife, kids. No, just they remain lonely. Anger management is very sakonadige behavior. And as Rama says, it's the source of all the sins. When someone has that within him, that anger, he is constantly vulnerable to sin, to do averas. Actually, I don't talk about even the banod lachaver, of course. If someone has within him that kas, with midas akas, anger, he will for sure violate banod lachaver because he's going to be constantly blowing up on people, and it's he'll hurt people. So is banod lamakam also. Someone who is anger, he's always won't be able to have patience of davening, of making bruchas, anything. Anger is a very bad mid. The Bezra will discuss it more widely upcoming shurim b'siyad d'shmaya. But the way how the Rama defines, how the Rama structures the work, the very interesting engineering, how the Rama advises his son to get rid, to protect himself from midas hakas, not to work internally. First of all, it's not first work on midas hakas, just meaning to say don't open out right now the swarm which talking about midas hakas, how gefährlich this is. First, you start from external, meaning to say your external behavior, as discussed in previous shooting, external behavior will reduce and will dispute the cause, the anger from within your soul. What kind of external behavior can a person adopt in order for him to help to get rid of his anger? As the Rama zog, when we release our words with serenity, with calmness, with calm, serenity, content, we try to enforce ourselves to talk this way, nice, pleasantly. This external behavior of talking nicely, pleasantly, and will influence our inner soul, and will reduce and will dispute with the time with the sakas. It sounds pretty simple. It's pretty simple, but it's also this communication will not only influence a person for himself to be very alive. When you're free from cause, you just calm, you feel good. It also provide the person to develop profound relationship with people. Again, as I said before, relationship is very important. What makes person remain healthy mentally and emotionally, and sometimes physically as well, is when he feels that he got in his life people who he has a relationship with, right? So I think everybody can relate to that. So as we mentioned yesterday, the Gemara, Mishnah, Shabbos, and Daf Lamadat, and Gittin, Daf Wolfman Beis, the message we saw yesterday came out from the Gemara from Chazal. To come when the father comes home and he thinks he can't find his things, and he starts to scream and yell, where is it? Start with aggression. It will create certain resentments and resentment on behalf from kids and spouse as well. That's the rule. Rule is when you pressure, when you confront, when you dominate and you control, it creates on behalf of a person you're talking to feelings of resisting and resentments. It doesn't matter what area you were controlling or dominating or pressuring. It's a barachnis or bagashmis, meaning if you pressure the child, you control the child, you dominate the child to wake up in the morning to go learn, to wake up in the morning to go down, to make bruches, to not talk lashon hara, or anything, any kind of behavior which is associated with religion. Be aware that this controlling, dominating, and pressuring behavior will deliver. It will produce mamish opposite results. If you pressure the child to go learn, you control him, you dominate, he will just drop the Torah. He won't be interested in that. If you dominate the child to down, he won't down. Any area where we control, dominate on putting pressure, that area becomes very sore spot, very bitter spot, and it becomes the area which is where a child, anyone, just becomes very painful to enter that area. So what makes a child to run away from Torah is because the Torah certainly wakes within him certain trauma or being hurt in that area. So it just doesn't work. That's the Chazal, that's the Metzias, and it's very clear. I don't think someone ever succeeded with control, domination, and to see any kind of positive results. It would just see opposite. It wakes and the child is sort of feel to be anti-dominating, anti-tefillah, become very negative. So the proper way, if you want, according to Chazal, if you want to achieve positive results, it's to approaching the child, presenting your request in a very pleasant manner, like we said, Mishnah, sartem, meaning to say it should be presented the right way. Oh, so nice! I forgot about it. Thanks that you did it for me. Araftem. Oh, so nice! I forgot about it. Thank you. Right? So asartem araftem adlik saner. When the Mishnah said right afterwards, the Rabbi said you have to say srichen lemevrinai bin nechis. You have to say with very serenity tune, very calm tune. So we'll achieve a very positive results. The fact shows that kids who are raised with this under this communication skill, cyber parents, shir, they achieved a lot in their life. Kids who were growing under the tense, controlling, dominating, and pressuring environment, they became nobody. Not only nobody, they became mashchisim and developed really their inner para odom appeared a very strong format, and they really became para odom. It's not, parents should not feel guilty about it. But we didn't pass. Whatever happened, we can always change our ways, and we can go reverse and start from the beginning again. The relationship in bottom in the child, there is three partners: Father, Mother, and God. So once we accept the godly messages and Hashem's messages to change, to the tshuva, let's call it, and Hashem is called Yochel. Kol Yochel means that even at age when you're a teenager, you have a teenager, right, and you were controlling him for past 15, 16 years, and you feel like, okay, so what's going on? How can I undo the damage? The answer, you're not responsible of undoing the damage. You're responsible just from today and on to follow Hashem's guidance, follow the Torah, the guidance, and present the right way, the tshuva, and Hashem will make the child Hashem will dispute from the child the damages which were done to him in his past years when he was growing up. We see another very interesting message what Gemara says in the Torah. The way of Gemara I will say the Gemara right now, which with this Gemara comes a very, very good message, very strong message. It's allowing the child to explain himself. Meaning to say, sometimes the child comes home and whatever he has, you caught the child with the smartphone, and you caught whatever, anything. So when we catch on the child on that negative behavior, we have to let him, give him the opportunity to explain himself or explain herself. It doesn't really matter whether the child is mishaker. Of course, the child will sometimes say a lie. It's natural because the child is fearful that a parent caught him on some kind of behavior which is inappropriate behavior. So when the child lies, at the time when we catch on the child on that negative behavior, it should be expected the child will lie. It's okay. When the child lies at the time when he's being confronted, it is not being considered as a lie, because lie is that he's lying, just lying. That's the communication of lying. This matter shakra. Shakra is someone who is communication to be shakra. Someone who is lying because the fact environment triggers him to forces him to lie, is not considered as a shakran. It might be not the best behavior, but we can view the child as a shakran. So be more practical. If we catch child using the smartphone, we saw actually the child using the smartphone, and we ask him at night, okay, Shefa, did you use my smartphone today? Be aware the child will say no. He's lying. Don't view him as a liar, because that's the nature of people. When you confront the person, you catch the person a certain evil, let's call it, a certain negative behavior, and you confront the person, especially the child. That's nature. Nature is I protect myself by lying. So, but it gives an understanding that we should not get mad at the child that, oh, Mr. Shakran, you're a liar, and so forth, because in truth he's not a shakran, not a liar. Just a circumstance made him to lie and to say. In order, it's like protection mechanism. He's protecting himself by escaping and being a shakran, but it's not the etzem. Inner is not a shakran. So it's very important to know not to judge the child at the time when confronted with a shakran, and especially to release this statement on the child that he's a shakran, because it might bring certain damages, as we'll discuss before. So, but what I'm trying to bring out now, it's letting the child to defend himself. Remember, the kids are really innocent. The reason why why the child takes a smartphone, anything else, because they're just curious. He wants to see what's going on there. It's not on a smartphone. It's anything. The child is just getting exposed to the world. He's getting getting introduced to the world, and he wants to see what's going on here, how this works, how does that work. He's just curious. He's not doing things out of rebellion, because it's not there yet. He's just doing it because he's curious. So it's very important to know how we approach, how we confront. Of course, to confront the child with aggression, it should not be done with aggression at any time. Even when we catch the child by a most extreme averas, most extreme averas, it should not be confronted with aggression, because aggression will just escalate and motivate the child to go ahead and sin more. At any time we would like to confront is actually not a good word to use. When we would like to approach the child's behavior, it should be approached in a more calmer way. If you're not calm, so don't approach. Wait till you get calmer, then approach. And anytime we approach the child, it should be approached very calm, serenity, and very content tune when we communicate with the child. It's number one. Number two, let give the child the opportunity to defend himself, to explain himself. We find the Gemara says as the Aftesam Beiser, Shimon Tzaddik was a gewaldige tzaddik, a Kohen Gadol. He had a chumrah. He never ate from Oshem Nozer Tome, meaning to say Nozer was Mekabel, a person was Mekabel, he's a Naziris, meaning to say he was Makdish himself. He certainly achieved certain holy spirits, and he said that he will be Kodesh Lashem. And it is certain halachas that applies by the Nozer that he's not allowed to be Metame, to the Mason, he's not allowed to go cemetery, he's not allowed to drink wine, and so forth. If he did go to the cemetery, he will be considered Tomei. Tomei is he needs to bring a korban to Beis Hamikdash. This korban being called Asham Nozer. Osham Nozer. So Shimon Tzadik said he never ate from Osham Nozer, just once in his life. What was that one time? He's saying that I met a very handsome boy, came from east. It's very Yifei Ainayim, very nice looking boy, very nice hair. And I asked him, Shimon Tzadik, Beni, my son, Mar Isul Shache Sa'ar Noezeh. Why did you commit it to cut your hair, such nice hair? And this another starts to explain himself. I was a pastor, my father in my town. I went to shep the water, in the mayon, in the kwal, in the river. When I look at my image in the water. I felt that my Yetzer Hara jumped on me. The Yetzer Hara wanted to motivated me to go in the sin. Then I was thinking to myself, I'll be magdish myself to the Voinish Olam. So I channeled my desire, I channeled my beauty, and I gave it over to the Voinish Olam. A very, very, very strong mood. I felt the Yetzer Hara wants to letardenim in the Olam. He wants me to, to be knit the toilet in oil. Wants me to go to sin. I just detached myself from my beauty, and I donated my beauty to the Voinish Olam. And that's what happened. So that was the response of this Nozer to Shimon Tzadik. When the Shaktiv al Roishoy, Shimon Tzadik, I stood up and I gave him a kiss. It should be more and more Nazirim like you in Klal. So here's the story. A handsome boy comes to Shimon Tzadik. That's only one. This Gemara, it's only mentioned only once in Shas. It's only once in Shas we see how the conversation, the dialogue between Kohen Gadol and someone else. We don't find any Gemara. We don't find other places where there's like this kind of dialogue between Kohen Gadol and the other person. But here we see that a young, handsome boy comes to Shimon Tzadik, the Kohen Gadol. So we would think that Kohen Gadol, you go and you shmuz learning with him, you say Gemuras. But here had very mentioned a conversation with this boy. Obviously, this boy came to be makrev to bring Asham Nozer, not Nozer Tom. He is a certain violation on the behalf of this Nozer, of this boy, this handsome boy, that he need to bring the Asham Tom. So it comes to this long hair and to Shimon Tzadik. Today's day, if the boy comes with a long hair to yeshiva, they will say, the response will be Shai Getzaros. Right, but Shimon Tzadik accepted this boy even with long hair. He did not judge him right away. And Shimon Tzadik could have had that chance. Shimon Tzadik was going to Kodesh HaKadoshim every year. He was a very holy man, very highly person. Im Kozek, he sees this boy with long hair, very interesting. He had the opportunity to judge him negatively and confront him and to condemn him. However, Shimon Tzadik asked him very pleasantly, Beni, my son, Mora Isul Shachesar. He invited him to explain what happened to you. And of course, when you invite someone with a very pleasant and nice tune, it breaks the heart of the person. It feels like the person you want to talk to feels that very close to you. And that's what happened. That the handsome boy was very honest with Shimon Tzadik and told him exactly what the story was. And then Shimon Tzadik finished up the conversation by giving him a kiss. So it's very, very, very. It's a lot of message really coming out from this Gemara. But the main message that comes out here is to give the opportunity to a child to explain him or herself. The same way, the practical example for it will be: you see the child, you saw the child did something which is not that appropriate, and there's two ways where you can judge the child, or you can correct the child, and you make him aware. So the way how we approach it is, Beni, Maro Isul Shachas, sweetheart, why did you do that? What happened to you? And it's a very pleasant tune, very serenity. What happened to you, Beni, sweetheart, my dear son, my dear daughter? What happened to you? When we go with this, when this message, when these words contain warmth, encouragement and pure, no judgment whatsoever. This word break the heart of the child. But to be really honest with you and tell what happened to him or to her, and what caused them to behave the way they behave. And it's important to start conversation with good tone, good words, and end up with good words. Meaning to say with good expression, as we see by Shema Tzaddik, I stood up and I gave him a kiss. I kissed his head. You know, the same way I copy paste to the child. You know, let the child explain, give the opportunity for child to explain. It's very important. It's not only to give the child opportunity, it's anyone, but now the parents, don't attack your child, don't pin down the child, don't challenge the child. Give the child, help the child, give the child the opportunity to defend, to explain him or herself, and invite the child actually to show the child that you want to hear what he has to say or she has to say. Invite with a very pleasant tone, and just be quiet when the child explains, and help the child to talk. It doesn't really matter the child meshaket, lying or not lying. Just help to express and talk and whatever the child wants to say. And when the child finished explaining him or herself, just give it a kiss and that's it. There's no guidance should be done at the moment. There's no musa should be set at the moment the child expresses. Just you're giving the opportunity. There's a very important, very powerful method of giving the opportunity for a child to defend him or herself, explain what happened, exactly what caused this event, and help it. You know, participate it, be a helper, how to explain it. And nothing should be nothing but just hearing and listening what the child has to say. And of course, by a second opportunity, by other opportunity, you'll provide pleasantly the proper behavior, proper behavior, how the child should have behaved, what the child should have done in order to prevent the fall in this behavior the child was in before. Bez Hashem will continue tomorrow. A wonderful day.